Bonjour, je m'appelle Pierre Tocci, consultant principal stratégie de transformation chez Pro. Bienvenue dans votre pause TI, des discussions avec des experts sur des sujets d'actualité pour rester au fait des dernières tendances en matière de TI. Nous nous retrouvons aujourd'hui pour notre revue annuelle du portrait TI, soit notre rapport phare sur les tendances TI qui façonneront l'année 2024. Cette étude est coproduite par le groupe Pro et Léger et est votre guide en TI pour des décisions stratégiques éclairées. Cette année, quelle est la situation? Suivez-nous dans les prochaines minutes. Nous aurons plusieurs réponses à vos questions. My two guests are Rodney Moffett, he's a principal solution consultant at Infor, and my colleague Jean Desbiens, who's a CSI solution designer at Pro. Guys, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
The IT Study 2024 reveals a very interesting statistics. It says that utilization of spreadsheet, Excel or Smartsheet, is down to 52%. So it was way higher last year than this year. So it's a step back of 10%. Jean, is this a good thing for you? Not depending on Excel so much.
Well, sure, it's a good thing. You always want one version of the truth, and Excel doesn't really give you that. So especially in an ERP context, you want to have a good BI solution for analytics. So yeah, it's very good news that less people are using Excel. Now, that being said, still need to figure out what they're using. There are best of breed applications out there. Of course, artificial intelligence brings it even a step further with predictive and analytics and all that. But you have to be careful because it may have impacts on, for example, the security of your sensitive data and all that when you're using those types of tools.
Rodney, as a principal consultant, pre-sales role, really, when you meet customers and they talk about data analytics, what angle do you give to this?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we're never going to be able to completely replace Excel. It's, you're going to pry it from some people's cold, dead hands before they'll give it up. But what we try to get them to understand is that they can utilize other technologies, business intelligence, that can give them access to that for the masses, that they know that the calculations they're using, they're guaranteed, and everyone's looking at the same information. But we also know that we have to integrate and provide ways to integrate with Excel. And that way, if we can still be the source of data that they're bringing into Excel, then they can still have that familiar feel and experience that they're used to, but know that the data they're looking at, the information that they're consuming is correct and has been, blessed by the company as, the way that they should analyze it.
Now, considering a company would have Infor as an ERP or other ERPs, can we do advanced analytics within Infor?
Yes, both within within our business intelligence tools, but more advanced analytics is within with our machine learning and AI tools that are available, and they all integrate. So we can do the advanced analytics with our AI and ML solutions, and then we can use the business intelligence tools, whether it's ours or if they already have one that they are using, to present that information to them so that they can consume that.
Jean, I'm going to throw this back at you. In the previous segments of this podcast, we discussed the dangers of using AI too quick. What would you tell your Infor clients regarding AI? Go AI first or do smart data analytics first?
Now, of course, we want to start with smart data analytics. I mean, artificial intelligence, machine learning is still in its infancy. I think that a lot of companies are not even familiar with what they mean exactly and what kind of use cases they can use these things for within a company. So I would definitely start with, basic data analytics with the tools that are in place, and then eventually start integrating ML logic in it and so on.
ML, we mean machine language.
Machine
learning, should I say? Machine learning, yeah. In the IT trend studies, it it was mentioned that there are three main reasons to use external data feeds. 29% to discover business opportunities, 27% of companies said to better understand their customers, and 25% of companies said to better identify market needs. Rodney, in your frequent exchanges with the manufacturing industry, your customers all over, do you see trends like this?
We have. We've seen that, they're using external data to really understand their customers and market trends better. I don't think anything highlights the value of external data more than the pandemic. Just within a very few short months, consumers' buying trends, their digital activity, everything changed.
Yep.
So dramatically. And what our customers found was that using the internal data was no longer relevant because the historic buying trends and patterns that they had seen were no longer relevant. So as they were frantically trying to, pivot and to change with all the consumer trends, they really did find value in looking at that external data.
Jean, the work you're doing with your customers with the Infor CSI, obviously you are proud of the designs you do with your colleagues of CSI at the customers. What value do you, when people start using data feeds, what value do you see bringing to Infor or to CSI implementation for your customers? There has to be a value to bring in new data feeds, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about optimizing decision making. So whatever data feed is relevant to their company or their industry, for sure, if it's giving them, ways to make better decisions, it's always a good thing. From company to company, from industry to industry, the trends that are being looked at are different, right? So the data feeds are different, and so on and so forth.
Rodney, if I were to ask you, give me three reasons why in your work as pre-sales, okay, people ask you, Rodney, should I keep Excel or do advanced analytics or do AI, right? You would come up with the three go-getters. Why should I do it? What would that be?
Number one is to gain insights into, like we just talked about, our customers, but also just, internal processes as well, to be able to find things. And whether we're just using, traditional business intelligence or analytics versus AI and ML, as Jean says, it really depends on the application, depends on the need of the customer. And so, we don't necessarily just come in and say every time, artificial intelligence or machine learning is the answer. Really, we need to understand what the question or what the problem is so that we can then work with the customer to figure out what is the best solution. Is it just traditional analytics versus is there an opportunity for using augmented intelligence or artificial intelligence to assist in that?
I'll even go further on that, Pierre. I mean, it also depends on each individual within a company and the role they play within the company. So whether it's an end user, it's a mid-manager, it's an executive, the requirements, the needs, some of them may need more AI-driven solutions, but at the lower level, they want very detailed information. So for them, it's just a report, right?
Yeah.
For analytics purposes, the middle managers may want something more in the analytics portion of business intelligence, where the executives will want to look at trends and have the AI start being predictive and look at things in a different way.
Tell me about the readiness of a customer. What kind of help, Jean, can you bring a customer who say, okay, if you do this, and this, then you're ready to do it?
We have to guide them because, as you stated, a large percentage still use Excel. Excel is a very user-driven system, if you want to call it a system. So everybody just goes in and puts in whatever data they want and make it say what they want it to say. So they have to be ready, they have to give a bit of that away and say, we're using the data that's being inputted into the system. You can't really manipulate it. So to be ready to use it, there is some change management involved in doing that. So I don't know if that answers your question,
Sure does.
but to me, that's key. I mean, a lot of people use Excel. As you've mentioned before, there's no eliminating it. there's always going to be Excel, but we want to minimize it, especially for key indicators within the company. You need, as I stated before, one version of the truth. Excel won't give you that. So to me, it's all about change management, and to be ready to look at that data, they need to know what they want to look at. The company needs to guide them also towards what kind of indicators or what kind of evaluation of the business they need to look at, so that they can have these dashboards, these reports, these indicators to help them see if they're accomplishing their goals, but also to be able to, as I stated before, optimizing decisions.
Ronnie, amongst the solution set that you use in your work, I'm sure that we talked about the external feeds. You cannot take an external feed and just throw it at Excel. I mean, it's going to be very cumbersome and we're not going to gain anything, right? But via smart analytics or advanced analytics, you can consider doing this with a lot less pain than doing it with Excel.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, really, the ingestion of that data is one of the critical parts, because by itself, external data may or may not provide you the insight you need, but it's when you can take that data and combine it with your internal data that it then gives you greater insights. And so along with that, you also have to understand, is the data that I'm bringing in, are we able to combine that and join it together with the data we have to gain greater insights? We can't just assume that we're going to bring in as external data and it's a silver bullet or it's going to help us solve something. We really need to understand what is the value it can bring. And then, as Jean was just saying, we really need to understand what the requirements are and what can it bring to the table? How can we leverage this to really enhance what they're doing internally as well?
So the trick of AI without data, there's no AI. And the more data we get, then we benefit from ML, machine learning.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. That was a very interesting topic.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Nous tenons à remercier tous les contributeurs qui ont collaboré à cette édition du Portrait TI, la firme Léger, notre partenaire Platine IBM, notre partenaire Or Nutanix, nos partenaires bronze Microsoft, Data Sentinel et Infor, ainsi que notre partenaire d'opportunité Arctic Wolf. Si vous êtes intéressé d'en savoir plus sur l'année technologique 2024, nous vous invitons à télécharger le Portrait TI à l'adresse suivante portrait-ti.ca. Je m'appelle Pierre Tocci et je vous donne rendez-vous pour la prochaine pause TI.